Goodbye YouTube. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. Now before I get into talking about the team preview, a lot of you said that you actually wanted to see more PO replay battles, which I'm fine with. Now for those of you who don't like PO and like Wi-Fi more than PO, don't worry, I'm still going to be bringing you Wi-Fi battles. PO will not take over my channel. Now also one more thing, I know in my last two narrations I have made mistakes, like I've named a Pokemon by its wrong name, or I listed a wrong item that it had even though I knew the item that it did have. Now the reason why I don't re-narrate my battles is because I try to do everything one take, because I don't have as much free time as I did during summer. So hopefully you guys can forgive me if I do name a Pokemon by its wrong name or make any other kind of errors. It's just I don't have enough free time on my hands, and I hope you will still enjoy the video. But yeah, anyways, getting into talking about the team preview, my opponent has a very offensive team, and I actually have a new Yu-Yu team that I've really been liking lately. I based it around Life Orb, Darmanitan, and Choice Scarf, Rotom Cut. Now before any of you say Rotom Cut and Yu-Yu, what? It's actually very, very viable. Plus, I can deal with bulky waters, and I can cripple walls that could potentially set up on me or like really annoy me. So definitely Rotom Cut is something you guys should try out in Yu-Yu and even OU according to Tony Flagon. But yeah, also I threw in a Kabalion because I really like this set that I got from my good friend Archisel9. I also threw in Sableye and Umbreon just for two walls that could really help me out, and then I have Blastoise for Rapid Spin support. Now my opponent has four very, very heavy hitters in the forms of Darmanitan, Zapdos, Manchow, and Sharpedo. So those are definitely four things I have to watch out. Snorlax and Cofagrigus really shouldn't be that big of an issue because, I mean, I have Sableye, which could potentially stall them both out, but the main threats are going to be his four heavy hitters. Hopefully I can work around those guys and pull out the victory, but I guess you just have to wait and find out. So let's get right into the battle. He's going to lead off with the Manchow, as I will be leading off with my Sableye. And the reason why I led off with Sableye was because Sableye can pretty much stall out his entire team. Just go for Will-O-Wisp, taunt, and recover. It really doesn't matter because his team doesn't really have anything that can one-hit KO Sableye. So first turn he predicts the Will-O-Wisp and brings in Cofagrigus. The following turn, not wanting him to go for a rest or go for a Will-O-Wisp of his own, I am going to go for the taunt, as he did try to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And what I'm going to do here is actually go for the foul play. Now yes, I do know that Cofagrigus does have the Mummy ability, but as you saw, Sableye is faster than Cofagrigus, so it really doesn't matter. And at this point, I'm pretty sure he's just trying to get as much damage off on my Sableye as possible because he knows that it is a big threat to his team. So I'm going to go for Recover just to get the extra burn damage, not wanting to take too much from Shadow Ball. And then he ends up getting a crit, and that completely did matter because, as I said, Sableye can pretty much stall out his entire team. Above that, Sableye was the #1 check I had for that Manchow, which has now become an even bigger problem. And the Fallen Train is going to be able to finish me off with the Shadow Ball, because I'm pretty sure even if I had gone for the Recover, it still would have been able to finish me off, and I didn't want him resting up because his taunt did wear off. So I'm going to bring in my Rotom. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Leafeon, I don't know why. And I'm going to go straight for the Leaf Storm because I don't want him possibly living a Thunderbolt and then getting off a Will-O-Wisp on me or going for the Shadow Ball. So thinking that he's going to bring in the Zapdos, he actually ends up bringing the Manchow, which has me thinking that maybe Zapdos doesn't carry a Heat Wave. So knowing the Fake Out is very obvious, I'm going to switch into Kabalion and switch into my Blastoise just to take the high jump kick because I am max defense, max HP. But you're going to see that I completely underestimate the power of Manchow. So he U-turns down to Zapdos. Now obviously I don't want to take a Thunderbolt because I am physically defensive, not specially defensive, so I can't stay in and go for the Toxic. And also he might go for the Substitute, so switching into my Umbreon is basically the best thing that I have to deal with the Zapdos. And like the next 10 turns are pretty much me just stalling or trying to stall him out. And it finally clicked in my mind that when he goes for the Roost, I can use that free turn to switch out into my Darmanitan. But I'm thinking that when he does go for the Roost, he's actually going to predict my switch into Darmanitan and go for Thunderbolt to Oko Darmanitan, which is why I just keep staying in and keep going for the foul play and wish combination. But it finally clicks in my mind that I can just do that because he just keeps going for Roost. He's not trying to predict my Darmanitan switching at all. When he needs to go for Roost, he is going for Roost. So this turn, I finally make the switch out to my Darmanitan, which is what I should have done a couple turns ago, and it would have made this battle a lot shorter, but it really doesn't matter because now I can freely bring in Darmanitan and something on his team is about to die. Yes, he does have Sharpedo and Snorlax, but Sharpedo doesn't have any defenses, and as you're going to see, this does 45% to Snorlax. That's all tons of damage to a Pokemon with thick fat, and because he thinks that I'm more than likely Scarfed, I'm actually going to go for the superpower and just completely annihilate the Snorlax. So I managed to get rid of his 2 walls, which means he's only down to his offensive hitters, which means I can take advantage of that as he's going to bring in the Manchow. Now obviously I know he's more than likely just going to go for the fake out and not go for the high jump kick, so what I'm going to do is bring in my Cobalion just to take the fake out in the following turn. I'm more than likely thinking he might just go for another U-turn, but I don't want to risk it, so I'm actually going to pull a switch out to my Blastoise, and this turn he actually does end up going for the high jump kick on the off chance that maybe I did stay in, considering that the first time when it was Cobalion against Manchow, he actually did just go for the U-turn on my switch out, but he goes for the high jump kick, and that does 60% to max defense, max HP Blastoise. That's entirely way too much damage. Manchow, could you please leave UU if you're going to do that much damage to Blastoise? Thank you. But now I can get a free switch out into my Rotom. Now, he has nothing on his team that appreciates Thunderbolt or Volt Switch, and I was thinking that maybe a Volt Switch would be able to finish him off. Unfortunately, as you saw there, he lives with 8%, which means now I'm going to be forced to bring in my Umbreon, which at this point is the most expandable thing on my team. But because he was actually at 8%, the 10% Life Orb recoil is going to be able to finish him off, which means now he's going to bring in Torpedo, as I'm going to bring in my Cobalion so I can Volt Switch whatever he decides to bring in. But I'm pretty positive that because I'm actually a bulky Cobalion, I should be able to take any 2 hits from the Sharpedo. So what I'm going to do is get on my rocks for his Darmanitan and his Zapdos. And he ends up going for 2 waterfalls, which luckily I'm going to be able to actually live. And I found it a bit odd that he didn't go for Earthquake. Maybe he doesn't carry it, or maybe he was predicting my switch out into my Rotom. But that over prediction, or the fact that he isn't carrying it, is really going to cost him, because I'm going to be able to finish him off with the close combat, as this turn is going to bring in Darmanitan. And I completely forgot about the fact that Darmanitan 90% of the time are Choice Scarf, so I'm pretty positive at this point that the battle is over. But it turns out that he himself is actually Life Orb or Choice Banded, which means I was able to outspeed him and go for the Volt Switch. And at this point I don't need my own Darmanitan anymore, so I switch him in basically as Death Fodder as he goes for the Flare Blitz. And because my Cobalion is faster than Darmanitan, I know I will be able to easily finish him off with the close combat, which means his last is going to be the Zapdos. So I do go for close combat, get rid of Darmanitan, and the following turn is going to bring Zapdos. Now I'm thinking that close combat isn't going to be doing nearly enough, and that maybe he's going to go for the Roost. So what I'm going to do is actually go for the Toxic, so I could wear him down a bit, and the following turn go for a close combat just to get that extra little bit of damage. But it turns out that he's actually just going to go straight for the Heat Wave, but I'm pretty positive that after being at -1 special defense, a Thunderbolt would have been able to finish me off. And if he had missed the Heat Wave, that possibly could have cost him, but at this point I'm just hoping that a Thunderbolt will be able to finish him off. Luckily for me it is, and that's the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content, and with that guys, enjoy your day. So I do believe I am out of here. Later.